Just what was the talking points in terms of practice and getting ready for obviously the biggest game of the season for you guys?
I mean, the talking points are obviously things we got to do to be more efficient on both ends. Offensively, we're not a turnover team, so you have to look at why we had all those turnovers. And then defensively, just sticking with the game plan. Our game plan was one thing in game 5 and something totally different in game 6 from an execution standpoint. And that's something that we talked about, like doing what we do so that we can be effective on both ends. So it was a lot of cleanup today. And then just, being in a gym where there's, a game 7, it's pretty high energy, intense gym. So that's something we all expected.
Aiden's was saying that he was expressing just a disappointment in the turnovers and that nature. Was it more of what Dallas did, or was it more of what you guys did?
Probably a combination of both. You know me, I'm never one to totally take away from another team's effort. They played a physical, in-your-face type of game, but there were some things that we can do a lot better from a spacing standpoint and just reading what they're doing on defense.
Yeah, I also mentioned lack of communication defensively. How did that manifest itself, you think, in game 6?
I mean, in screen setting at times, making sure you call out the screen early. But more importantly, just being ready to play like every possession. We weren't consistent the way that we needed to be. Transition defense was, even though they missed some shots in transition, we were below average at best as far as identifying the ball, finding a man, and making sure we stayed in front of the ball.
Monty, Chris is the king of getting to his spot, but it's been more difficult for him the past couple of games. Is there anything specific you've seen that he maybe needs to focus on to get back to it in game 7?
Well, they're doing a good job of just trying to take away Chris's right, so that everybody can see that when you watch the game and watch the film. Sometimes you just have to give into going left. He's good going left. That's the one thing that gets lost in all of this. And, we have counters for when teams take away his right hand, and we will rely on those counters tomorrow. But I think he's fine. He's a guy that watches as much film as we do as coaches, and he can see, like, when they're taking that away, sometimes the play is on the backside. And we talked about some of that today.
And it's one of those things for him where in year 17, he's seen every game plan possible to kind of throw at him, so he knows his adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows the adjustments. We have to do a better job of helping him, even though they're trying to take away his right hand. There's some things we can do to help him get to his spots, and we'll figure that out as we go forward.
Where do you feel you can improve in some of those environments?
I mean, we've been getting trapped all year long, so it's nothing new for us. Sometimes Book can beat the trap depending on the big, and then there are times where you got to beat the trap with a quick pass. Those are things you have to make those decisions on the fly. But we've seen blitzes all season long, whether it's on the ball or Book's playing against a bigger guy and they bring a guy to him. We have counters for all of it. They did some of that stuff in game 5. We were okay in game 5. We just didn't execute well in game 6.
Coach, you talked about taking it game by game, but this being a game 7, I don't believe you ever coached as a head coach in a game 7. I think the one game that you were in, it was in New York, Indiana, New York, and you were rookie year. What are you drawing from to prepare for game 7?
I think I've been an assistant in a couple of them. They're all different. You know what I mean? The one thing that is the same is the intensity. You can feel it from the time we knew we were going to be in a game 7 till now. Like, the gym is thick with intensity, and that's how playoff basketball should be. I think if you're going to pull something from all of those experiences, is how every possession is important. You don't have time to not be ready to play, whether it's a dead ball situation, the call doesn't go your way, transition defense, or you go on a run, and you have to keep that same level of intensity when you come out of a timeout or you're knocking down shots and things are going your way.
Monty, has it been a challenge to manage the emotions the last couple of days? Is that something you focus on, or is it strictly, on the court, or do you feel like you're going to have to manage the emotions heading into a game?
My own or
the team?
I don't know how I would manage the team's emotions. That's just not something that I think about. I think you manage your own and you set the atmosphere for guys to be able to thrive in, and that's something that we as coaches can do with good preparation, giving them good information, showing them the clips that give them some answers to whatever the problems may be. But I think everybody in these games has their own objective to manage their own emotions. That's something that we try not to legislate.
Monty, your bench had major contributions in Game 5. Now scoring Dallas bench 38-23. So Game 6, substitutions weren't as frequent. Do you feel like we could have maybe in Game 7 revert back to the way you were subbing in Game 5 and contribute that maybe to the crowd maybe in Game 5 and how the bench was really helpful to get you guys to that win?
I mean, I'm sure bench guys play more comfortably at home, but I'm not quite sure how. We had 20-something turnovers. Doesn't matter who you put in the game. That's going to affect the guys in the game, whether they play a ton of minutes or not. We're all making minor adjustments in our rotation, like game by game. So we'll do the same thing tomorrow.
To your point, the turnovers, what's contributing to that? Is some of it that Dallas is just anticipating what you're going to do, or is it just careless play?
I mean, they play good defense. I mean, they've been a top 10 defense this season, but there's some things that we can do a lot better, playing in first pass when we see a double team, getting off the ball. But some of it is just, fundamental basketball, just not turning the ball over. We had a few uncharacteristic turnovers. We've had charges, that kind of thing. So those all play into it. And we're not a turnover team, so I don't suspect that will happen again.
You have more, faith that if you get the ball down to Ayton, their strength. He's been playing well throughout the whole postseason. Just getting the ball down to him to take pressure off of your guards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we try to do. We've taken advantage of him down there. Again, when you turn it over 20 plus times, that takes away from your opportunities to get him the ball.
Would you think about, like you did a little in the New Orleans series, just throwing one of your other bigs in there at the same time for a few minutes?
I'm not quite sure this series is one where you go two bigs with the guards and the agile floors that they have, especially the way they spread the floor out with shooters and Luka's on the floor. I think that may put two bigs in a tough spot to have to rotate like that.
Thank you, Monty.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. We move this way.